I've always been fascinated by stories about loneliness. It took me years to realize I was really making films about myself. What's up, everybody? It's Jordan Bull here. I wanted to do something a little different from our last video. I don't want to just always be talking in my car, so I'm here at a really nice park in Brea. Very chill day today. There's really like no one here right now, so I just felt like screw it. I kind of wanted to say a few things to kind of go along with this video. So let's get right into it, shall we? So throughout the years, really since the very beginning, I've noticed my films have a common theme, and that's the theme of loneliness. I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of my favorite films of all time, like Donnie Darko, Taxi Driver, Prisoners, and there's a few other movies that I can't think of at the top of my head, were all deal with the themes of loneliness. It's something that really since I was young that I've always kind of been drawn to. Blade Runner 2049, these are just some examples, but something that I've always felt and I've related to, because since I was a kid, kind of give you guys a little backstory, but when I was a kid, I used to get picked on. When I was a kid, I didn't really have a lot of friends. My parents were pretty strict about me going out and hanging out with friends, riding bikes and stuff like that. So I was always at home, watching movies, watching cartoons. I've always had to basically keep myself entertained, which in a lot of ways is pretty cool, because that's kind of been my training camp for what I do now. The reason why as an adult I'm still super creative is because my brain has always been, I guess, hardwired that way since I was a kid, really, because of being lonely when I was younger. And so it's all kind of led up to this moment. But I guess the biggest thing I really wanted to talk about was kind of give you guys a little backstory on why that theme is so prevalent in my, not just in my film career, but in my life. But also really just kind of touch on how being a filmmaker can be a very lonely endeavor. I was blessed where the first couple years of my film career, I had a old best friend of mine. Me and him, we both had the passion to make films. So that definitely makes things easier when you're filming with someone, and me and him, we would film all the time. And I guess now that he's no longer my friend, everything I do is basically alone, really. Films don't get made unless I actually put the effort to make them. And a lot of times it can suck when, especially when you get older, your friends are all busy, some are getting married, or some have girlfriends, or as an adult it's really hard to kind of find someone who you can hang out with all the time. That's no longer a reality for most of us. And so for me, something that I've kind of been doing recently, or really the last year and a half or so, is when you can't find someone to film, just film yourself. In a lot of ways, you're doing two things. One, you're practicing with your camera and you're getting reps, but also two, it's like you can make profound stuff by yourself. I think we put so much pressure on ourselves to get client work, or to find a very interesting story of someone out there. Me, I love making documentaries, and it can be intimidating to make cold calls or going up to random people. These are things that I'm still struggling with. Something I'm still struggling with is finding client work. And I think a lot of that has to do with me having the mentality of only picking up my camera when it's time to film, rather than just filming, like for example, me filming right here at a park. This is something that I never do, but I'm gonna start doing. And I think one, getting better with your camera, and also two, it's like, how can you really call yourself a filmmaker if you only pick up the camera to make a film? So sorry to kind of go off on that tangent. I know I said this is about a specific topic, and I'm over here walking around and talking about other things. But again, I think that's the most important thing, really, is it can be scary, it can be intimidating, because you see all these other filmmakers out there, and there's a lot of people making great work pretty quickly, to be honest. But like I said, if you don't have anyone to film yourself. And yes, it can be very lonely, but I think kind of allow yourself to go into that. You know, if you're like me and you feel like you're lonely, or a lot of the theme of your work is loneliness, go into that. You know, I think express it, find a way to express it, and don't be afraid to do so. Who's to say that you can't, let's say, post a video on YouTube of you having a real conversation at a park like this, and then maybe someone else sees that video, is inspired by it, and then reaches out to you and is like, hey man, like, I like your videos, why don't we work together? And then surely, you know, surely but surely, and then who knows, by you doing that and you posting more content and you becoming comfortable with filming yourself, you're gonna attract other people who can eventually maybe end up being people that you make films with later on, you know, down your career. So I know it can be hard, but like I said, you know, if you don't know what to film, or if you have no one to film, just film yourself. And in doing so, I guarantee you, huge opportunities will come from it. Because even if you're not able to find someone to film with, just by you getting those reps in by yourself, you're going to become a better filmmaker. And then when you finally do take that next step to reach out to people, you'll actually have footage to show them and be like, look man, look at this film that I was able to make by myself. Now imagine what I can make with 2-3 other people and with a little budget, you know. So that's kind of the current predicament that I'm currently in right now. So yeah, I just thought I'd talk to you guys a little bit about why loneliness is such a prevalent theme, not just in my films, but my life. And I don't know, hopefully you guys can take something from this. Peace. For a long time, I thought loneliness was something I needed to overcome. But the older I get, the more I realize it's just a part of who I am. And if that's true, then maybe every film I've ever made has simply been my way of trying to understand it.